My name is Dr. Tia Starker Glass. My pronouns are she, her. I am a mother scholar, wife, daughter, sister, and friend. Adults are children's first teachers. We make sure and teach our young people the ways in which they understand themselves racially, but also understand others. Children ask lots of questions, and child development theorists say that we should answer every single question they ask. That helps them to make sense of their world. My partner and I are bombarded with all the questions all day long. My boys are 5 and 7, and they ask all the time, who am I? Why is my skin brown? Why is my hair short? And it takes a lot of time to answer all of those questions, but we do our best in answering those questions for them. Now, I must say, do we always know as parents what we're doing? Any other parents in the house, do y'all always know what you're doing? Yeah, no, we don't. We don't. But we try our best. We try our best. So, why would I want to pass down the assumption that I always know the answer down to my boys? Don't want to do that. So, it is quite liberating to tell my boys, I don't know the answer. I don't know. Let's try and find the answer together. Parents, teachers, try it out. It is quite liberating to say it, that you don't know. And I absolutely love the facial expression my boys give me when I say, I don't know. It is this look of, oh, what, mommy? What? Right? And so my older son always says, but mommy, I thought you know everything. Like everything. You know all the things, mommy. And I tell him, I don't know everything. I just try to convince your dad that I know everything. So, as adults, because we don't know it all, some of the work falls on us to help our children understand who they are racially and understand others as well. A healthy racial identity is absolutely critical, both for ourselves as adults, but also for our children. So to be able to tell my son that his beautiful brown skin is brown because of melanin, and his ancestors also had brown skin, gives him the information that he needs to temporarily, because you know there's more questions coming, temporarily satisfy that curiosity that he has. So we have to make sure that we rediscover why we are racially curious. What is it that we need to know so that we can then model that to our children? And so in asking all of these questions of them, as many as they ask of me, I try to model to them that I am continuing to learn right along with them. We can cultivate seeds of curiosity about our racial selves and others by seeking to find multiple perspectives of what we know. So here again is my beautiful family. They're a little older now, so the pictures are just a little dated. They keep growing because they keep eating everything, so they're growing pretty quickly. But the ways in which I cultivate seeds of curiosity for my boys is to be curious about my own racial self and others by making sure that we are exploring multiple perspectives. And what I mean by multiple perspectives is oftentimes we know like a piece of history or we know this famous person in time, but have we considered all the other parts or narratives or stories that are connected to that part or piece in time? Oftentimes we don't. Many of that curriculum wasn't always given to us I'll say that, in our K-12 education. And so it is up to us to explore a lot of that content. So as adults, we always have to ask ourselves, do we know enough both about ourselves and others, or do we need to sit down and explore some of that information for ourselves? Do we need to sit down and learn with and for our children, right? So we can be those models. So in other words, another way for you to think about it is, do we satisfy our own racial curiosity? Do we ask those questions of ourselves that we can then unpack to learn and grow more? Additionally, with that, we also may need to unlearn some of the stereotypes and biases that we have learned along the way, and making sure that we are not contributing to some of the stereotypes and biases that may exist for others. So that means, again, there's work for us as adults, right? We have to be prepared to have and even provoke curiosity in those conversations about race with young people. It's on us, y'all, but we can do it. It is always about normalizing those conversations about race that pop culture considers consequential, right? So I know you already had to turn off your TikTok and your Facebook and everything else, but we see those narratives that happen in those conversations when folks say the wrong thing or the right thing. So that means for us to be able to remove the fear from young people means that we have to remove the fear for ourselves, right? We won't get it all right, and I'm the first one to say I definitely don't, and that is absolutely okay. We are modeling to our youth that we are learning right along with them. So let's focus less on cancel culture and invest more in invoking a curious culture. My colleagues Aaron Miller and I created the framework of systems, self, history, and action as we teach our graduate certificate courses on anti-racism. Because we believe humans are connected and accountable to one another, we believe that everyone has to be curious about and know about the systems at play, a deep and thorough knowledge of self, our history from multiple perspectives, and what action we can take for justice. We have to allow ourselves the questions that we may consider to be scary and follow up those questions with more of the curiosity that exists within ourselves. Why is my personal knowledge so limited about this topic? How could this information that I have learned potentially be harmful to someone? What other perspective do I need to consider as I learn and grow? And what has society taught me about this, and is it valid? So we have to, as adults, model how to engage and evolve, make mistakes and apologize, and then move forward on our learning journey. We have to give and receive grace as we learn. We have to do no harm with our words or our actions. But the only way to be able to do that is to not operate in fear. Fear causes division, it causes confusion, both for ourselves and our young people. So we cannot operate in that fear. And as Luvvie Ajayi says, being fearless is still operating within that fear, but we're gonna move forward although it exists. So in my research, my teaching and consulting, I'm often asked by teachers and parents alike, so what do I do? What happens if my young people come to me because they've seen injustices on the news, or they've experienced it themselves, or they're talking about it on the playground? What do I do? And my response is, we should have already been having these conversations, right? They should already exist within our spaces. But if not, we have to make sure that we are listening to our young folks and having that conversation with them, right? Listening to what it is they say. We should not silence them with our silence. So because we don't know, that doesn't mean that we should silence them as well. The conversations about race that we have with young people should cultivate seeds of curiosity in a way that facilitates them wanting to learn about those systems, self, history, and action. We should encourage the curiosity, the critical thinking, and the inquiry, and not hold our breaths in hopes that our young folks don't ask about it. As we work towards justice and belonging, let's equip our young people with the curiosity they need to make sense of their world. And this world is ever changing, and they're asking the questions. So we should be there to help them do those things. And make sure that they understand the world with multiple racial perspectives, including their own, versus operating in fear of themselves or others. Adults, it's on us. It is absolutely on us to make sure that we are supporting our young people's curiosity in a way that they can move forward in making this world better, so that they cannot live in fear of themselves or others. Thank you.